Hey friends, so welcome to a book birthday live. I'm so excited. Man, I don't even have my right background on here. I need to get my book birthday background. What am I even thinking? Here we go. There we go. All right. We're celebrating another Like a Pirate book. And as you know, we don't have very many Like a Pirate books. It's a very special um thing to have Like a Pirate book. And this one's actually in our Lead Like a Pirate series with Dawn Harris, who's in the house tonight. Well, or today. We are not night now. It's in the house today. Welcome, Dawn. We're so excited to have you.
Oh my gosh, it's just thrilling to be here. I'm without words. I don't even know what to say. I'm just super excited. This is something I've been waiting for so long. It was funny. I was thinking earlier, like the last time we were on DBC Live, it was like, I think like last summer or something. And we were just talking about the book and we weren't even calling it Plan Like a Pirate then, I don't think. So a lot has happened. And so it's been a really exciting year. So thanks for having me.
And you are a published author. That is so exciting.
It's a little breathtaking. It is. I don't think it's quite
about to say, how do you feel? How does it feel?
Well, there have been some ups and downs today. It was like eyes wide open early this morning, and just a lot of stuff going on. Just connecting with folks online and just getting the message out about the book. It's just being able to share it now officially. It's just a really wonderful thing to be able to have it in my hands today. Dave, look, it's here.
I love it. I'm so excited you have your book. And thank you all for joining in with us today. We see Kristen and Vicki and Dave's in the house, Monica. We are so pumped up about this book, and we are going to try to answer all of your questions. So as we are chatting it up today, please do send over your questions over in the comment section. We'll be sure you're talking to the author. She knows her book inside and out. So we will be sure to answer those questions. Welcome, Vernon. So excited to have you. Dawn, so I'm curious. I know that everyone is just so excited, and it's so thrilling to become an author, right? It's so much more work than I think people realize too. Like going through the process is so hard. So before we talk about the book, I know there's a lot of educators out there that probably have a message they want to share with the world. Just tell us a little bit about your experience and maybe just one little something you learned from the experience of actually writing your manifesto and putting it out into the world.
It was an amazing process, and I just have to really give a shout out to all of DBC's staff and the editors because, well, to be honest with you, for as challenging as it was, you guys made it as easy as possible. And so that was really helpful to have a team that's just so supportive, made all the difference. Not once ever did I feel like, I wanted to like give up or throw in the towel and so that means a lot just to know that there's that kind of support. So I would just say for anybody that's really interested in doing that, run to DBC because they're the folks to publish your book. But more than anything, if you're an educator and you want to get your manifesto down, if you have something that you want to share with the world, which I encourage every single educator to do, whether it's an article, a piece of fiction, a teacher book, whatever, is the key is to organize yourself more than anything. Just go, get your idea together, but really flesh it out. And that's one of the things that I think benefited me the most in writing the book is before I wrote a single word, I really tried to get my thoughts and my ideas in as cohesive an order as possible. And I think that just helped tremendously.
And it goes so beautifully with the title of your book. No. Can you imagine that Dawn's a planner? I mean, if she's writing Plan Like a Pirate, she might be a planner. Also, I love this book too for so many reasons, but I do want you to dive into the contents of the book. But first, and I don't have mine yet, so I'm super jealous of you and Dave. So jelly. But I would love for you to tell the crowd just what you're hoping they gain from the book, what you're, like if you were to hear somebody say something about what they were able to take away from the book, what would that be?
Yeah, I think for me, that's really an easy one is just that whenever, they're able to apply any of the strategies or the techniques, use any of the practices that are in the book, just that kids are excited and on fire for learning, because that's my goal in everything. And every single thing that is in this book, has at one point or another led to that with my students. I love it when kids get excited about learning. Like right now, we're writing horror narratives. I finish up our horror narratives from our Thrill of Horror unit. And they cannot wait to share what they're writing. Like they'll write a paragraph and say, Mrs. Harris, can you read this? Mrs. Harris, can you look at this? Mrs. Harris, and that is what we're after. Like that is it, right? They're not worried about, am I doing this right? They're not worried about, I can't do this. They are empowered, they're inspired, they're engaged, and they just want to share everything they're doing with their peers and their parents. And that's just it for me. It's like, what can we do in the classroom to just really build up our students' passion for learning? To me, that's it. That's where it's at. And what I was really striving for with this book.
Dave has a great question. And I think this is great because we don't always have ELA teachers, especially at the high school level, like as authors. A lot of times they're in different levels, they're in different roles. So I'm curious what your answer might be. He just said he's wondering the impact of your students seeing their teacher actively writing a book, not just teaching writing, but actually a writer of a book.
Yeah, I love that question. So thanks for asking, Dave. And to be honest with you, I have an answer, and that's credibility. And what I mean by that is, especially for high school writers, the editing process, they don't want to draft anything. They don't want to rewrite. They don't understand why I'm making them do it. And so to talk about that process with them, I think really has helped a little bit with buy-in. It's just, writing is, to be honest, right, it's not everybody's thing. And though to be able to talk to my students about the struggles that I face with writing and and how difficult it was at certain points for me, and really that drafting and revising piece has been so critical. And I think that's what's been the biggest impact. And they're just awesome. I love my kiddos so much, and they just, I don't know, they inspire me tremendously. So
it's so true. And I love just being able to like go through the learning process with them. Like, hey, I'm doing this too. And this is something I learned today, or this is like, it took me 2 hours to go through edits and I only made it through half the book, like letting them know how many revisions you have to go through. I always try to warn authors, this too, but I always try to warn our authors, because I honestly think we're trained to, like high schoolers, we're trained to think that our draft is pretty much mostly perfect. And we're probably not going to have a bunch of red marks all over our draft. And I always warn authors, like, hey, Dave warned me when I first wrote my book. He told me, do not open this copy, only open this copy, because when you see this copy, you're going to be all like stressed out. And I opened the copy that you were supposed to open. And I think now we do it differently, but it had red marks all over the place. And I was just like, no, I'm a terrible writer. But the truth of the matter is, like, our editing team is just so powerfully, talented at what they do. And they really have a way of just helping us to reorganize and think about things in a different way. So readers of all different backgrounds can understand it, not just educational backgrounds. And I think it's such a powerful message to be able to share with our students. That's awesome that you had that opportunity.
Yeah.
So Dawn, so for the book, who do you think the audience is primarily for? And then maybe walk us through like the structure of the book, not necessarily like every single page of it, but the structure. What does it look like? What can they expect when they open Plan Like a Pirate?
Yeah, I think really, if I had to think about an educator the book is for, it would really be that person who maybe at this point in time is feeling like, I need some oomph. I don't feel like I was that teacher that I was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe there's a little complacency. This is about putting the pieces back together again, right? What does it really look like when we walk into the classroom and we bring our own energy? Because I'm all about the energy, right? In the classroom, we bring our energy to really well-designed lessons. And, if you're that teacher, right, and you think, gosh, maybe this isn't as fun as it used to be, or I'm not seeing the fire light in my kids' eyes anymore when I give that lesson. I'm hoping that the parts and pieces that are in here, and that's really what it is. I talk about in the book at one point with the Essential 8 framework about how these parts and pieces are like Lego bricks, right? You can put any of them together side by side, just parts and pieces, and build something entirely new every time, but just as fantastic, just as exciting, and that's what's really great about planning in the way that I like to plan is it's like a smorgasbord of things. What can we pull in together? I think, and having a framework and something to rely on, those non-negotiables every day. Like, what do I have to have every single day when I come into the classroom with kids that's going to keep them on their toes and really keep me focused too, because it's as much our job to be on our toes as educators as it is for kids to be on theirs, right? And so one of the other things that I talk about in the very beginning of the book is our impact. We have to understand our impact as educators. We can really make school an amazing place for kids, or we can make it an awful place for kids, right? And where do we want to fall in that? And being visionary, we have to be visionaries in the classroom too. Vision isn't just for the school district, it isn't just for the building principal. We're visionaries. We have, I talk about this sometimes when I'm sharing things with teachers about a plaque that I have on my wall that one of my student teachers, who's my dear friend now, Kelsey Hartshorn, I love you, Kelsey. She gave to me at the end of our year together, and it says, "The future of the world is in my classroom today." And that, we don't think about that enough, right? Every classroom that comes to us, if you're a high school teacher and you got 6 or 7 preps a day, whatever that looks like, or if you're an elementary teacher, and you're teaching all of everything to those beautiful littles, someday, right, they're going to go out and they are going to solve the problems of our world. And how do we use our own classroom vision as an extension of the curriculum, right? We have to, use the standards and create the targets and, administer the assessments and evaluate the data and all that. But why not do that all in the context of creating a better world? Why can't we? And so, that's just one of the, foundational practices in my classroom that we're talking about. School is one part of our life. What we do with the stuff that we get here later on is what's really, really important. And then beyond that, it's just about your practice and professionalism and being the best teacher that you can be. And I know right now it's tough, right? Coming back into the classroom we can't even say post-COVID, but still in the midst of COVID, but, in maybe a little bit different setting than last year. I know it's hard, but this is the time more than ever to focus on our greatness as an educator. We this is it. We have the chance now to say, I know things are tough, and so I'm going to do the best that I can do to be the best version of myself possible. And that last part of the book really hits on that. And I always want to encourage every educator has something profound to offer us. Every single one of us. Write it down, put it in a video, share it on social media, go give some PD. Like, we need every educator leading forward in this work. And I just want to encourage and try to give some advice on how to do that. So
yes, I love that. And this is such a powerful book. I feel like it reaches all educators, not just teachers, because I definitely feel like it reaches like all levels of educators as well. We're all teaching. We're all teaching something somewhere. We all need a plan. That's really important. And we're all people. And so I know that in your book, you provide a lot of different strategies. I would love it if you could share, just leak out one of your favorites. It could be anything. And I kind of put you on the spot, but just share out one of your favorite strategies. There's so many in the book. There's also a lot on her website, which we will actually, as soon as you start talking, if you'll just also put your website, I will type it up real quick. I think it's educationundone.com. But that's it? Okay.
That's it. Educationundone.com. And there are
that up. That would be awesome. Educationundone.com. Dave's going to put that over in the comment section. I'll flash it up on the screen in just a moment. And then Dawn, tell us a little bit about one of your favorite strategies in the book.
Yeah, I think for me, it's number one of the Essential 8, and that's concept-based learning. We have to let kids deal in ideas in the classroom. I don't care if it's math, science, social studies, English. we've got to give them ideas to just ponder and to roll around in their head, ask them big questions, let them solve problems. We can build skills in the context of concept-based learning, right? And so when we show kids that the learning that we are going to introduce them to in the classroom applies to anything, that's when we get buy-in, right? And so building out my units, looking at concepts, big questions, has been, I think, for my kids, the most impactful of all, because they really see the purpose in what we're doing, as opposed to just saying, here's the I can statement, or here's the standard, or because the curriculum says so. Those aren't conversations I have with my kids. It's about, what we do with that, and how we wonder about what we're learning is going to help us. So just got to really keep focused on how we can utilize what we explore together in class.
Yes, I love that. And Dave mentioned too how throughout the book you have woven in the anti-racist and equity thread. Tell us a little bit about that and your work in that area.
Absolutely. And, I think for most folks who know me know that I have a passion for anti-racism education. It's really important for me to help kids to understand like how we can just break down these kinds of barriers that are between us and really see one another for who we are. And so what was really exciting about this, and one of the things that I'm most grateful to the editing team for, because they knew how important this piece was to me, was getting it in there in a way that didn't make it seem like something else, right? Because anti-racism education isn't something else. We really can do it and weave it into our practice every day. And so we got it in the book in a real and authentic way that says, as we said about learning, if we just think for 1 minute about how we can make these little detours in the learning and get kids to take a look at some of the things that are going on around them that are going to help them to develop an awareness and just kind of a sense of, wow, this, I thought differently about some things. It is very critical, and it doesn't take long. It doesn't take much, but it does take intentionality. And so in the book, that's really what I try to help educators to be able to unpack piece by piece and just make it another part of planning, because it should be, and it's really easy to do, right?
Yes. And I think the way that you've done it is so beautiful. Like if you think about it as teachers, we are constantly planning our opener, our closer. I know with me, like I was a ridiculous planner. Like most of my peers did not plan like me, but I always had like links to everything. I knew exactly and maybe I deviated from that. I didn't necessarily follow it, but I had a very, like anybody could walk in my classroom and teach, like following all those things that they wanted to. A very detailed plan, but we plan all of those other things, and we make sure that it's in the plan. Like we're planning, we're intentionally going to go there, or we intentionally need an opener, we intentionally need a closer. So we need to make sure we close up our lesson 5 minutes early, so we're not shoving them out the door for like, go, right? Because we have this closer. So why not with anti-racism strategies and ways to make everyone feel the sense of belonging and as if they're included. And I think you do that so beautifully in this book. And it doesn't feel like impossible. It feels like, oh, why didn't I think of that before? Okay, this is going in the plan. Like in my mind, that's how it is. I'm like, this is totally going in the plan. In fact, I will say there's things in Dawn's book that I think about when I'm preparing my professional development workshops that I didn't think about before. And so this is not just for teachers. This is for anybody who's teaching anyone at any time, and that's all of us, that you can think about these things just a little bit differently. You just go into it with a little more intentionality, and you're going to come out feeling, not only you feeling like you've accomplished something, but the learners, man, they're walking out and they're like, wow, learning. Something just took place in there, and I feel like I'm a part of it. And that's what we really want.
Yeah. And I think too, one of the biggest, I don't want to say it's a mistake, because, it's not. We try everything that we do in the classroom, especially when we talk about anti-racism education, as educators, we're trying, and we just have to. I was talking in the Lead Lab chat with some folks this morning about how, you have to experience failure to experience success, right? And anti-racism education is one of those tough kind of things, like, maybe I don't know how to do it, I'm a little scared. All of those things are natural, right? We have to do it. But the thing is, like, we have to start to move away from these conversations in the classroom and we're like, okay, kids, we're going to talk about the racist piece of this, or how to combat racism in this way. Like, it has to be embedded, right? It has to be a natural part of the curriculum for it to really make sense to kids
Yes.
and adults, and the adults in the building. It should be that way, and allow us time within the content to really assess the impacts of what we see, how we feel about things, how we respond to things. They all have an impact. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I would give anybody before they move into this part of the book in particular is get your relationships right. Your relationships in the classroom have to be strong. They can be. It takes work and it takes time. At the beginning of the year, we spend, my co-teacher and I think we spent like the first 2 weeks of the school before we even looked at a piece of content, just doing the basic fundamental getting to know you. That wasn't getting into those deep conversations that we're able to engage in now. It takes time and intentionality, and courage. And hopefully the book will give you the confidence to be able to do it.
I think it's going to be amazing. And I love that you just highlighted relationships before diving into some of the deeper content, because that's another piece that I think sometimes we think has to be separate from content. And if you know me at all, you heard me speak ever about being real. I think being real just goes so beautifully with teaching content. It can actually happen simultaneously. We can teach high stakes standards and get to know our students at the very same time. Like, we don't have to do SEL separate, and that's what Don's saying about anti-racism and equity. It doesn't have to be separate. It's just like embedded in. But when we take time to like really get to know our students and understand and share vulnerability ourselves, and allow them to do the same, we have this bond and they feel this culture where it feels safe to be able to share their thoughts and things. So I'm so excited about Plan Like a Pirate. Yes, Dave. Yes. Cool. I slammed my hand down on the desk. I'm so excited. Like a preacher, just slapping it down. Super exciting moment for Dawn and all of us at DBC Inc. We are so very proud of this project. Like I said earlier, there's not very many of us that get to write a Like a Pirate series book. It's a very select few people that get to write those, and we don't take it lightly. It's a very it's a book that we are just ready for the whole world to see, to take in, and to implement immediately. And I think that's what you're going to find with Plan Like a Pirate. You're going to grab this book, you're going to start reading it, and you're going to be like, okay, highlight. This is happening tomorrow. And that is exactly what these Like a Pirate books are all about. So, Dawn, we are just so proud to have you on the team. We're so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm so excited. It's just a beautiful thing. I mean, to be a part of the DBC family, it's a feeling like no other. And so I'm very, very blessed. I think back all the years ago, when I first saw Dave Burgess on stage at a conference, and I think it was Columbus, many years ago. Wow, I had no idea. So this is pretty wild. I'm just going to say that it's pretty wild.
It is. It's so fun too to put a book out into the world, because it's like having a baby. Like it's out there forever, And so now it's just nurturing it. It's just you guys. Thank you, Allison, for ordering yours today. You will not be disappointed. I promise you. I say that all the time, but I promise you, not every book can I take things and apply it to what I do with authors or with teachers, but this is one of those books I can. So you will not be disappointed at all. Your wheels are spinning, Monica. That's perfect. I can't wait to see what you take out of it. And that is really important to us. We want, as a company, we value the feedback of our readers. We also feel like you are a part of our family. So please do share out all of your thoughts, your insights, the things you're trying in your classroom. And Dawn, when they get ready to share those things out, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Twitter's kind of my jam, right? I'm on Twitter all the time. So at DHarrisEDS is where you can tag me, use the hashtag PlanLap, PLANLAP hashtag, and just let me know what you're up to, what you think. Show me those highlighted pages, what strategies are working for you. Show me your classroom. What are you doing in your classroom? I want to see it in action. And just let me know what you think. You know, I said earlier today, if my book helps one educator to change one student's life, then I have accomplished my goal. So I just look forward to seeing how everyone utilizes it, and just hope and pray that it meets needs.
Well, girl, it's already helping all kinds of people, because I literally used something from it in my last workshop with 1,000 teachers. So all those teachers hopefully took that and took it back to their classroom. So you got your one student. I feel very good. One student is covered. So please do out there share your all your insights, anything you're gaining from the book, even questions. We love, as authors, we love it when you ask questions like, you know what, this part I didn't really understand, or I don't really know how it fits my world. Can you help me out here? And if you want to send it in a DM, that's totally fine. But reach out to us. We are approachable. And that is something Dave and Shelley definitely make sure that our authors understand when they're signing on, that is a kind of a part of our company, is being very real and transparent with our readers. And yeah, we want to do that with Plan Like a Pirate. Dawn wants to reach you, you reach her, and Dave has put her hashtag over here and her Twitter contact, as well as the book link. The book link is also above and below this this video, and her website is on the screen, educationundone.com. There's a lot of resources there as well, and she will continue to add as she's trying things right in her classroom, literally. So she does all this in action, and we are so excited for what is to come from Plan Like a Pirate. So thank you, Dawn, for writing the book, for joining our DBC family. And I'm thankful for all of you listening, either now or on the playback. We can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Super excited. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, friends, we are wrapping up the book birthday, but the celebration is not over. We will continue to be sharing all kinds of things on social media. So do follow us and stay tuned for more amazing stuff coming from DBC. One thing you can look out for is our DBC Challenge is back. So if you're watching this today on November 13th, 2021, DBC Challenge will be coming out real soon. So you want to check that out, because it's a great way to win free books for you or your professional community. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. And yes, we just can't thank you enough for joining our book birthday. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.